What do you get when you mix 1930s style animation, jazz, fun, and pretty darn challenging gameplay? Did I mention that smooth 1930s style animation? That's Cuphead for you. I'm late to the party since I was holding out for a physical release, but since the delicious last course is ready to be served at the end of June, I figured now was the perfect time to take a sip. Cuphead is a deceptively simple game. You traverse a map, fight lots of bosses, and do a few run and gun levels on the side. It's being compared to Metal Slug, Contra, and so on, and it's understandable. Those games are also punishingly difficult as well. Cuphead is hard, but it's fair. There's no life system or else it would be truly miserable for everyone involved, and yes, you have to start each fight from the beginning. The boss fights and levels aren't that long though, to be honest, which is nice. The length of the game comes down to the many times you're gonna die, learning to get the boss patterns down in order to give them a wallop. The story itself is simple too, with Cuphead and his bro Mugman playing innocently one day before wandering into the Devil's Casino. Cuphead bites off more than he can chew, and he has to give up his soul to Mr. S. They manage to work out a deal and they have to go confront others who have also made deals with the devil. These bosses aren't too happy to see you, and they offer plenty of phases to go through before giving up. Everything from the animation, the wonderful jazz music, to the characters, just plain fun. I love the way the screen ripples like an old-time cartoon, and the fluidity of the characters is just so pleasing on the eyes, even if a lot of things that are animated can be a bit freaky. The 1930s was a weird time. It's the little things like these movements from characters, and so on, and yeah, I just adore the weirdness of it, and it just works so well. I love the variety of bosses and the environments too. It's extremely varied, and while you'll be mostly fighting on a single screen, the art is just so well done, it's eye candy the entire time, even though you'll be dying a bunch. You can get upgrades that fit your playstyle, so it's good to cycle through them and find the best combination for you. There's also plenty of aerial dogfights that are quite scrappy. These are some of the hardest fights in the game in my opinion. There aren't many running gun levels, and to be honest, as the game goes on, I wanted to play these less and less. They're not bad in any way, it's just, I think because of the rhythm you develop from always fighting the bosses, the running guns kind of interfere with that, and they're technically not necessary either. They're good for the coins, but the soul contracts are what you need. There's no getting around it though, this game is tough. This game is soul-crushingly tough. It's so hard, and it's gonna beat you down more times than you can count. Actually wait, this guy can count, and this is where I was when I beat the last boss. The silver lining is that while it seems overwhelming at first, there are patterns to remember, and it'll get easier the more you play it. You'll get the muscle memory down, and that's what'll get you through. That said, with only 3 hit points, your life is precious, and I can't tell you how many times stray projectiles ended me right before I was done. Seeing the little Cuphead run to the end is so infuriating, but when you see the knockout screen, there's no bigger relief. If you like tough games, Cuphead is definitely for you. Even if you aren't into these types of games, it's certainly worth checking out just for the amazing amount of work that the studio put into it. This was a game truly made with lots of love. I put it off for a while, but I'm glad I got into it. And yes, it took many hours, but in the end, I'm definitely glad I made a deal with the devil.